Our helicopter shows us we've had some sort of a lose down in this area of the racetrack. Is it the Garth Weakston car?
Yes, I think it is. The Garth Weakston Tirana in on the inside edge of the bank there in Forest Silver. There's car 20 we can see now more clearly. It's the Weakston car. He's done it fairly successfully too. 13 seconds.
13 seconds the difference between Alan Moffat and Colin Bond. Bond obviously closing. We saw a sign on the Moffat Ford dealer pits.
You can see where Weakston has hit the bank on the far side, coming out through the cutting there.
Well, Colin Bond hasn't come around. Colin Bond hasn't come around. Oh, he has. I stand corrected. I'm sorry.
There's tremendous excitement here in the tower as well as out on the circuit. There's the man who is the only hope for Holden this time. Now, Colin Bond is still going. Moffat is slowing, there's no doubt. He was 125 miles an hour down the straight, still pretty rapid for some of the front-end troubles. Bond was 154 miles an hour, about the same speed that the Peter Jansen Perkins car has been achieving down the straight. They are 1 and a bit laps behind. But if the Ford cars are slowed too much, of course, it could put this Tirana within reach of them. The leading car now, that's still Alan Moffat, although by a very slender margin, has only 7 laps to go. The Jansen car being driven with great vigour. The recovery vehicle going up to get the Weakston car. This race-long battle for the class continues with Derek Bell still in front of the Stevens escort. But the real drama at the moment concerns the outright leader and the remote possibility that the Tirana may be able to make up some ground, the Peter Jansen.
Personally, I doubt it. He's not driving it very quickly. I think he's just more concerned in getting it home himself, really.
Well, who would blame him at this stage of the race? If he doesn't have the speed and has some problem that he can't make up the gap, he's better off to ease off the pace and be assured of third place in this event.
Actually, this is a very trying period in any racing driver's career because it's such a long event, and the things that would be running through Moffat, Bond and Jansen's mind at the moment would be unbelievable. They'd be looking at every gauge, they'd be dreaming things, their heart would be pounding about 200 beats per minute. But Moffat's still going quite strongly.
A very dramatic finish, and it always seems to be this way with the Hardy Frodo 1000. There is the race leader, Alan Moffat, leading down Conrod Straight. The next car that we should see will be Colin Bond, hopefully. There's not a great deal between them.
Moffat, with Jackie Hicks, his co-driver, has covered 159 laps. This will be his 160th. Bond, the same number of laps. He has Alan Hamilton alongside him. 1 lap down, Peter Jansen and Larry Perkins in the Tirana. And they are in front of Charlie O'Brien and Ron Harram, who lead the Brock brothers, who again are a lap back. So it's the 2 Fords up front and a group of surviving Tiranas behind. Only 3 seconds the margin between the 2 Fords now, as you can see. The last car to sweep in with only 1 lap as a safety margin between himself and Jansen was Colin Bond. The 2 Falcons now both in sight up Dunlop Mountain Straight. They have 3 more laps to cover. The motor purring quite contentedly, but knows we're down on revs as he's keeping the power down.
Peter Jansen has picked the pace up in the last few laps, we believe.
He's down at the just crossing pit straight at the moment, which means he's something like 2 kilometres behind these cars on the road and 1 lap down. An almost impossible assignment for Jansen. Still, he is carrying the flag of General Motors very well, very bravely, after troubles had afflicted the Peter Brock car, the Alan Grice car, and the Harvey vehicle, the Marlborough Holden dealer team car, which was going so well early on until put out by differential problems. The flags are out. The crowd up top now warming up for a Ford victory. As the 2 cars are almost in formation, and Moffat almost comes to a stop then to go gently down through the S's. Doesn't like putting any pressure on the car at this point. You can see Bond now coming into view there very close. And they've got about 2 1/4 laps to go like this. might end up pushing the car up the hill if they keep going at this pace. Moffat in front.
Yeah, I reckon Colin Bond probably have to have the radio on to keep his concentration up now, because it's very hard after you've set a very torrid pace.
Particularly when you're trying to pass a truck. But here we have it, the very dramatic finish coming up, because this is the slowest part of the circuit from over the last rise down to the left-hander at the end of Conrod. Alan Moffat, an aerial shot from our ATN helicopter. Colin Bond, you'll notice, will now start to gain ground, because from this point on, Moffat has been slowing on the left-hand approach to pit straight.
And intriguingly, now we've been assuming that Bond will stay behind, but goodness me, what's he going to do? He's got a little more than 2 laps to go now. He'll slow down, I feel sure, because that's what the sign has suggested.
Well, there's no doubt he's driving to very strict instructions, because if he wasn't, he would have blown Moffat to the weeds 3 or 4 laps ago.
They have now covered 161 laps.
Now I guess it develops for the spectators here to a Victorian or New South Wales favouritism, because the spectators along pit straight are giving Colin Bond plenty of encouragement to get on with the job, but unfortunately I don't think he is in a position from a team point of view to do that.
Well, it's interesting to watch Colin. He's waving to the marshals now. He's starting to get the formalities over. The hand out the window, acknowledging the cheers or the raspberries or whatever he's getting. And he's just content to stay there. He won't close up much until he gets close to the line, and then I suspect he'll stay behind to make sure he doesn't pass in front of the checkered flag. So it's with a little more than 1.5 laps to go. It's Alan Moffat, 3 times the winner, the man who desperately wants a 4th victory to equal the record of Harry Firth and Bob Jane, who each have 4 victories in this Australia's greatest car race. Moffat has the scent of victory in his nostrils, but he also has the taste of disaster there as well, which gives him some mixed sense and mixed emotions, because he's still got himself something like 10 kilometres to cover. You can hear the crowd up top now. Through Castrol Curve they go.
Incredible ad for Ford, this, really, when you think of it.
Well, they've put their act together magnificently this year. No one can deny the Moffat Ford dealers team their 1-2 victory. They have just been so professional in their approach to this year's Hardy Ferodo, despite the fact that they had problems at Sandown, and that was a great debut for the A9X Tirana hatchbacks. But here we have it after almost 1,000 very, very difficult kilometres of motor racing, and they're running 1-2, and that's the way that Alan Moffat would like it. And I think they're probably setting up the finish that we'll see in television commercials for a long time to come.
I didn't like the look of the wheel, that angle when it came down the corner. It started to lean in a bit. Goodness me, it'd be disastrous if Moffat were to lose now. He has something like 8 kilometres to go for victory, his 4th victory in Australia's greatest race. Colin Bond is closing because he can't go any slower.
It'd be terrible to foul the plugs up following the boss.
That's right, and that's always a possibility. He has to keep the motor going. He might be in 3rd gear. They're coming down the straight, though, and this will be the 2nd last time they wheel through Shell Corner, or Murray's Corner, at the bottom of Conrod. So Alan Moffat now has just a little more than 1 lap to go. The last lap board being presented to him. It goes out now. Moffat and Bond, almost nose to tail, get the last lap board. They have 6.2 kilometres to go before a crushing victory for the 2 members of Moffat's Ford dealers team take the checkered flag. Alan Moffat still in front, still with that suspect right-hand front corner of the car. Colin Bond dutifully staying in 2nd place, probably quite happy to come home 2nd now. He thought, right, Alan has earned this victory. He was in front with only a little distance to go. Had it been early in the race, Bond would have gone to the lead, but the opposition has crumbled. The leading contenders from the Holden team have fallen out. The most recent, Kevin Bartlett, after a spirited drive, and Alan Grice, who led early on. Bond is catching again, but he's got to ease up. And Moffat, with a car that is crippled in some way, is slowing down as he climbs up for the last time, up towards the cutting. A difficult bend for him with all the stress going on to that damaged outside right-hand corner.
There's Pauline Moffat, very, very excited, quite obviously. I'd like to see Colin Bond's wife, the expression on her face also.
Robin will be delighted. She's a great sport, and she'll be delighted for Colin himself, who'll be pleased to be there in the money as far as the team is concerned. They're both concerned with the result as far as Ford and Moffat are concerned, and look at the crowd at the top of the mountain. The last lap of the race, and all the Ford fans are to the front of the fence. Watch them as they come along the top.
They're very excited about this, and just look at the reaction to the forwards up the top of the mountain with Colin Bond just sitting in, not making any attempt to manoeuvre. He's playing it strictly to instructions in this, the final half lap of the 1977 Hardy Ferodo 1000 Classic from Mount Panorama, with Alan Moffat virtually in a limping Falcon with a problem that the team won't tell us about, and Colin Bond driving toward us, just sitting in behind the boss, and that's the way he's going to run out this race.
Well, Alan Moffat might be nursing home a crippled car, but is going to be the leader of a crushing victory to Ford in what has been the most competitive, the fastest and the most international race we've seen here at the Mount Panorama circuit. Colin Bond pulls alongside. I don't think it's a threat to victory. I think it's just to line up the cars. Down the straight they go. Car 1, car 2. An absolute demonstration of the crushing victory to Ford here and the Alan Moffat dealer team. Moffat in car 1, Colin Bond in car 2. For the last time, they come down in that magnificent view from the 7 helicopter, a scene we've never seen before. Side by side, Colin Bond marginally in front, but he'll ease up for the corner and let his team leader through, I would think. But he's in front at the moment. He's going to have trouble braking here to let Moffat through again. Now he does. And Moffat from the outside will sweep around and take the checkered flag first for victory in the 1977 Hardy Ferodo 1000.
A tremendous victory, magnificent professionalism at its best, with Alan Moffat. All the crews on pit row here have just lined up and are applauding Alan Moffat and Colin Bond for their 1-2 finish. A tremendous demonstration of supremacy from the Moffat Ford dealers team in this, the 1977 Hardy Ferodo. Pauline Moffat, and scenes of great enjoyment, of great jubilation in the pit area. As you can see, Pauline Moffat delighted. Peter Jansen has gone through, will be awarded with 3rd place. And just look at the scenes here in the Moffat Ford dealers camp. The result overall, which we're now screening, Alan Moffat and Jackie X with 163 laps completed, the winners. Alan Hamilton and Colin Bond, of course, in the second car with 163, and finishing in 3rd was the Jansen Perkins car. 4th, the O'Brien Harrop Marlborough Holden dealer team car. 5th to Peter Brock and Philip Brock. 6th to Robertson Chivers in the second car for Bill Patterson Racing. 7th, and what a great finish for Barry Seaton and Don Smith overall in the Capri. 8th to the Mazda of Terry Shield and Don Holland. 9th, the Alpha of Derek Bell and Gary Leggett, fantastic. 10 to the Escort of Stevens and Farrell. 11th overall to the Tirana of Forbes and Kevin Bartlett. And there's Alan Moffat and Jackie X, really enjoying themselves in front of the Hardy Ferodo Centre with a tremendous crowd beneath. Colin Bond is there, and also Alan Hamilton.
The winning pair, Alan Moffat and Jackie X. And a close second, Colin Bond and Alan Hamilton.
The famous Moffat Bond 1-2 Ford finish of 1977. It's one of those special and defining moments that has greatly contributed to the stature of this race. And how about the Katayama roll in the Mazda? Extraordinary to walk away from that one.